The best players in the world make hitting a driver look easy, but for most amateurs, it's the worst nightmare. It's the horrible club that they do not want to hit. Now, here's the thing. So many of their issues are actually caused from the address position. Now, there is no excuse for not setting up in a good setup position, as it is a stationary position. So in today's video, I'm going to run you through the 3 most common setup mistakes I see amateurs make with the driver and how you can fix them. Now, I'm going to run through these 3 mistakes in an extremely specific order, and it will all make sense as we get to the end of the video. So please make sure you watch all the way through, otherwise you will not get the most out of this video. So the first mistake that we see is poor tilts. Now with this, I'm also going to put in brackets forearm and shoulder alignment. So firstly, why are tilts super important? Tilts set our spine angle in the correct position to where we can start to pivot around that correct spine position. If we can do that, we're going to be able to optimize our angle of attack, which we want to be relatively level to slightly on the way up. It's also going to help you control club path, so it's going to help you get that club working around your body in the correct position. Now, I see so many golfers get into this position at address. Their pelvis is back, their spine is leaning towards the target, and if we look from the downline view, we can see the right forearm is higher than the left, and we can also see the shoulders are pointing to the left as well. So in this position here, if I was to swing, you can see how it's very much forcing me to swing down and left on it. Well, what shot's that going to produce? A low pull or a big old slice, which we do not want to see. So how do we fix this? Well, I'm going to take a slightly different approach to it. I'm going to give you some options in terms of how you can fix it. The first option is a drill that you might have seen, but I absolutely love it. Grab your driver, place it on the buttons. I just got to watch my mic, so I'm just going to go a little bit lower, and then also on the belt buckle right there. Now you can see if I'm in this bad setup position here, how this golf club is pointing behind me. I want you to point this golf club just forwards of the center of your stance. So somewhere about halfway in between your heel line and the middle of your stance right there. You can see as I do that, I have to push my hips closer towards the target, and I have to drop my sort of right shoulder down. So this is putting my spine angle in this nice subtle tilted position. So essentially the way I got there without that golf club is I pushed the hips slightly forwards and I tilted the upper body back. Now the second option that we have is actually to focus on the forearms. So like I said, if I set up in this position, I have my right forearm higher than my left. You can see the shoulders point to the left. You can see my spine is pointing towards the target. Now if I actually just go right, I want to drop my right arm so it is lower than my left. You can see from the downline view, the top of my forearm visible above my right forearm. You can see how when I've done that, that's now sorted my spine angle out, it's sorted my shoulder alignment out, and all I've thought of was to have this right arm relaxed and a little bit lower than my left. So from there, I'm in the perfect position to where I can approach slightly from the inside, have that good sweeping motion through the ball. Setup mistake number 2 that I see every single day on the lesson tee with a driver is a poor ball position. Now, ball position is crucial because our bodies are going to react to wherever we position that golf ball. So things like angle of attack, swing direction, club path, strike location, how we release it, all of these things are going to be compromised if the ball is in the wrong position. Now, I see golfers play the ball forwards for 2 main reasons. Number 1, they're trying to really hit up on the ball, and number 2, they've been sort of told some bad advice. So number 1, they're trying to hit up on the ball so much. Obviously, the further forwards we move the ball, the more likely we are to hit up on it. But like anything, we can overdo it. So suddenly, the more we start to put the ball forwards, if I go crazy right here, you can actually see that by the time I get to that point, if I'm in a good impact position, the club is just way too high. So quite often, golfers will hit it very low in the face or potentially top it. Or the other thing they'll do is because they've moved it so far forwards, the arc of the club will start to go back to the left, which will produce some pulls and slices. So what is the golfer going to do to try and fix this? Well, obviously everyone wants to hit the ball in the middle of the face. So the way that a golfer can do this is by having a big upper body sway towards the target, hitting down on it in this position, and it actually produces the opposite effect. Now, the other reason is you've probably heard somebody say, play the ball off the inside part of your left heel, or even play the ball off the left big toe, the lead big toe. Now again, this is just way too far forwards in the stance, and I'm not a fan of using the lower body as our reference, guys. Reason being is everyone stands a different stance with. The most accurate way of doing ball position is with the upper body. So the lowest point of our swing is going to be roughly underneath our lead shoulder joint, so lead shoulder to lead armpit. Reason being is as we are shifting, rotating, the lead shoulder starts to pull up and out, body starts to rotate open. This drags the low point further forwards to roughly be underneath the lead armpit, lead shoulder. Now, the reason why we did the tilts and everything first is because if I put it under my lead armpit in this position and then realize my tilts are in the wrong position, and then I tilt back, you can now see the ball's too far forward. So it's really important you get your tilts in the right spot first, and then the key check is we want that ball to roughly be underneath the left armpit. We don't want it too far back, but also we don't want to go too far forwards. Now, I would say basically anywhere from about half a golf ball behind the left armpit to roughly the center of the shoulder joint is going to be a great zone for you to be in right there. That's going to be an awesome zone. Now, if I place this alignment stick down on the ground next to the ball, you can see that actually when I do that, when I get it into that good position, how the golf ball is roughly actually about a golf ball inside of my left heel. So we're not trying to have it on the left heel. Yes, we want it forwards, but we don't want to go too crazy because otherwise it's going to compromise these elements in our swing like angle of attack, club path, spine tilt, all of these other things. So by having it about one golf ball inside the left heel, that's going to be the perfect place where we can have all these great tilts. We can swing around our body, have that slight ascending blow on the ball, helping us not only optimize distance and launch, but also help us have great accuracy and great strike location in the club face. So we've got some great tilts and we've got the perfect ball position. The final one is a very sneaky one, and it's poor shaft lean at address. Now, shaft lean actually has a huge influence over club face, and I'm going to show you exactly why. And it's not just for how the shaft lean actually affects it, it's how we grip the club as well. So if I set up in this good position right here, so great tilts, good ball position, and then suddenly I go and move the shaft really far back, so it kind of points more towards my belt buckle. So in this position, if I now grip it, it is going to promote more of a weaker grip. Now, weaker is where our hands are rotated for a right-handed golfer round to the left. Now, as a result of this, if I take that grip right there, I'm in that good position, there we go. If I then come back down to the ball and I try and get that good couple of degrees of shaft lean, you can actually see how that's now promoting an open club face. So having the shaft too far back is going to promote more of an open face, which is going to promote more of a slice. Reason being is because of how we're going to orientate our hands on the club when that shaft is back in that position. Conversely, if you watch golfers that really hook the golf ball, guarantee they look like this. They have that good setup position, but then they'll shove that shaft way too far forwards and then they'll grip it. So both their hands will be very much rotated around to the right in this stronger position for a right-handed golfer. As a result, as they then come down into the ball and they sort of release it out, try and get into that good position, they're always going to be fighting that club face coming back into a closed position. So you're constantly going to be having to fight against whether you're trying to make sure the face isn't too open or make sure the face isn't too closed, depending on where you position that shaft. So where should we have it? And again, I know this sounds very simple, but neutral is always a safe bet. So if we have that shaft relatively neutral, and by neutral, I mean from the front on view, there's no shaft lean. It's pretty much dead 0 degrees right there. Now, if you want to go either side by a couple of degrees, that's absolutely fine. You know, a couple of degrees towards the target, couple of degrees away from it, absolutely fine. But we want to be relatively neutral because this is going to allow us to have the correct grip for ourselves. So whether you do have a slightly stronger grip, slightly weaker grip, or a neutral grip, just by positioning it in this position right here is going to just allow you to get into the right position for you. Too far back is going to compromise things, too far forwards is going to compromise things. So you can see the order that we've gone through right there is very, very important. We have to get the tilts right first in order to then get the ball position right. But in order to get then the shaft position right, we have to have the other two things right. So you can see why I went through in that order. Absolutely crucial that you get those 3 elements right, and if you do get them right, your chances of delivering a square club face with a relatively neutral path and a good angle of attack are going to skyrocket, and you are going to hit the ball in the middle of the face and drive it the best that you've ever driven. So after all of that, let me now hit a drive with those 3 elements all in the correct position so you can see exactly what it should look like. So we're going to get into that good position, good tilts, ball wants to feel like it's underneath the left armpit, relatively neutral shaft lean right there. Now let's give it a whack. So those are the three most common issues that I see every single day on the lesson tee when it comes to a driver setup position. And just remember, driver, it's absolutely crucial we get this setup position right, because if we get it wrong, we're going to have to make compensations which are going to be super hard to time in the swing. Now, if you need a little bit more one-to-one help with your game, I offer online coaching on the Skillist platform. I'll leave the link down below in the description, so please check it out. But if you have enjoyed today's video, please give it a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you back here soon.